Morning, Peter. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. How are you this morning?
Really good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Why I've chosen you is I work with a lot of business coaches, but what
hmm
I love about you is that you've got your podcast Radio City that you do, and I'll ask
hmm
you a little bit about that. And the other reason why I chose you, I love your wealth of experience.
Thank you.
Um, and I listen to you most nights when I'm doing my gym workout as well, and your guests, and I get so much insight
Yep.
that I've never received before.
Thank you.
That's all right. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do and your radio and why it's so successful? And then we can talk about how we could potentially help our salon owners.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks for the opportunity. And
That's okay.
hello to everybody listening. Um, I've been in sales literally all my life, and I've been involved in recruiting, training. I was in the insurance business, and I had a big company and a big business that I worked, and I grew my agency bigger than some of the other agencies around town. And people say, well, what are you doing? What's different? Whatever. And unfortunately, I was always voted the least likely to succeed. And that, believe it or not, is an advantage because I didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
because I didn't know what to do, I asked other people. I asked my mentors, I asked peers, I got my manager to tell me what to do. And because I asked, I was always a step ahead of everybody else because I was saying, if they're doing it over there, I want to do it here. If they're doing
Yeah.
this in America, why can't we do it here in Adelaide? If they're doing it in England, why can't we do it here? If they're doing something on the East Coast, why do we have to wait? Why can't we do it here? So I was always looking for better ways of improving. But
Mhm.
I think the most important thing is when I left the insurance industry, I also went to work as a consultant for the real estate industry. And I was working in the real estate industry for a little while, and or training, sorry. And then somebody said, oh, yeah, but that's all right for you. You can't do this. And I said to myself, I'm going to actually start an agency. So I actually worked with an agency as a salesman
Okay.
just to prove not only to myself but to everybody else later. I said, look, I started this thing, I did this, and this, and my runs are on the board. You know,
Mhm.
and they can't deny the runs on the board. And it's not about bragging or whatever. It's about having the runs on the board. And if you've got the runs on the board, nobody can say anything else but say, yep, you must have achieved that.
Yeah.
But then I started this radio show, and I've had a couple of different radio shows, and I've always been interested in business, and I've invited a lot of business people to come on my show. So I started a show called Happy Business Radio. Now
Which I
it's a
love.
podcast. It's
Yeah.
a podcast which is called Happy Business Radio. Now that's been going already on the radio program for over 10 years. But the podcast itself has been going about 5 years, and I
Mhm.
record it through Podcast City here in Adelaide.
Mhm.
And what happens, Cheryl, is that I invite people such as yourself and other people to come on my show who have already been successful in business. So, now it's not about me. And this is the thing I always say to people, the show is definitely not about me. I talk to people who have very successful businesses or who have had very successful businesses. I've been lucky enough to be able to get some of Adelaide's multi-millionaires and a couple of the billionaires on my show. But I never stop there. I invite people from Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and other parts of the world to come into my show. And because I do that, what happens is the students that are doing, say, business here, for example, they all have friends and relatives overseas. So they send the
Right.
podcast to them. And what's happened, and I'm, you know, humbled by it, but we are now heard regularly in right across Australia and in over 50 countries around the world.
I
And the
know
reason
how
why
successful.
yeah, the reason why, Cheryl, is because I suppose I've used all my sales techniques to promote, right? And this is what people don't understand. There's a difference between promotion and sales.
Mhm.
People do a lot of promotion for a business, and then when the people come through the door, they don't have any sales skills. So you
Yes.
could spend a
So
lot of money on advertising, and once the people come in, then you've got to sell them. You still got to sell them. You still got to greet them. You still got to have a chat with them. So from the moment people walk up to your door, it's got to be a nice energy there for a start. It's got to have, ambience and all the rest of it, but it's got to have nice people.
definitely who
Sometimes,
actually care. It was
yeah,
like,
and
it was,
show that they care.
yeah, it
Like
was,
even while you're, like, say a hairdresser, for example,
mhm.
they could be working on somebody. Somebody else walks in, you say, hello, good morning, welcome. Look, we'll take a seat. We'll be with you soon. Or, and if they've got a receptionist or somebody who can act as a receptionist, hello, sorry, have you booked in? Yes, your name is. They should know. They should know in advance, for example, who's coming. They should
Definitely.
say 11
Greet
o'clock,
them.
Mary's going to come. At 11:30, Julie's going to be here. And, we've got Michael booked in as well.
And they're
So they,
coming in
they
and
should,
this is what they like to drink. You greet them,
yeah,
would you like a glass of water? We're running about 5 or 10 minutes
so
late.
simple,
All
so
the
simple to
little
do that.
things.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
what I always think, and I've been to a lot of hairdressing salons and beauty salons across Australia in my lifetime. And most
Hmm.
of the salon owners I love, but they don't really form that relationship. They might listen to people's problems, but they don't listen to people's problems about their hair or their beauty
Yeah,
and solve it. The only company
or
that
what
I've
they
ever
want.
done
Yeah,
it is Indota Spa, and they oversell
yeah,
you. But
yeah,
any other company has never
yeah,
actually said, all right, Sheryl, what are you using on your hair at the moment? This is what I would recommend, and these are the reasons why. And if you work it
yeah,
out, your budget should last you about 3 months. So that's going to cost you $5 or $10 a week, which is the price of a cup of coffee. But it can
yeah,
actually extend your color life and get, your hair will be in better treatment, so you don't have to come here. So we found out what the problem is, we've provided a solution, and we've given them a costing.
yeah. And the fact is that, like, what I mean, my wife, for example, is a good example. She has been going to a hairdresser for over 20 years, to the
Yeah.
same hairdresser. And
Yes.
since we married, it's over 12 years, I've said to her, she said, oh, look, she didn't do it the color I wanted. The girls there were really lovely. They were very sociable. They talked about all their things and they sort of grew up together,
Mhm.
right? So that's why she's been going there for 20 years. But over the last 5 years, right, she stopped going there. And the reason why she stopped going there, because I said to her, look, darling, why are you coming home telling me this is not exactly the color you wanted? She didn't cut it the way you wanted. So when she went to this hairdresser is an old fashioned hairdresser. And
Yeah.
she's still cutting hair they did the way they did it 20 years ago. And with all due respect, she's increased a few things, but she's bought some cheap dye, or she's bought some
Oh
cheap
no.
product. And my
Yeah.
wife comes home scratching her head.
Oh no.
And I said, yeah, honest. And I said to her, if you're scratching your head all the time, I said, there must be something wrong. I said, you're allergic to this product or something.
Chemicals.
And,
Yeah.
and then she said, oh, yeah, yeah. And in a few days, she washes her hair and the itchiness goes away. I said, this shouldn't happen. She said, oh, but I love her. The people there are lovely and I've known them, all this time. And when we got married, she did my hair so well. I said, darling, you're beautiful anyway. I said, you can get your hair done anywhere.
Anywhere else.
So,
And be happy. And be happy and
yeah,
not
and be
itchy.
happy. And yeah, and not travel across town and back again, which, takes over an hour travel. So she did decide to ask around a couple of her other friends. I said, ask them, look around, who else has got hair, beautiful hair? And she said, oh, yeah, the girl at work's got beautiful hair. I said, ask her who her hairdresser is,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what happened. And then all of a sudden, now she's been to 3 or 4 different hairdressers and she's just found one that she loves.
And the beautiful thing with that, Peter, she's going to tell all of her family and her friends. So she
Yeah.
becomes a salesperson for this salon.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what's happened with my podcast. With my
Mm.
podcast, Happy Business Radio, started here and people right across Adelaide were listening to it. I rang a few people interstate, and they started listening to it. And I was smart enough. This is a thing, and I'm not bragging about this. I'm just saying
Oh,
this is how
sure.
I promoted it. I rang a couple of professors, right, and talked about their students and talked about what business and all the rest of it. All of a sudden, there was a professor in Malaysia said to me, "Oh, Peter, this, and this," because a couple of his students were here in Adelaide
Listening.
studying business, and they told me their professor was interested in what he'd heard. So I rang the professor, and we did a Zoom call there. All of a sudden, all the students at the university studying that business and management and that, all of them wanted to hear Happy Business Radio. So I rang, we did a Zoom call to somebody in Penang, and then somebody in Kuala Lumpur, and then somebody in Singapore. We did, there's somebody here who's invented a programming. So I said, okay, tell me about your programming. All of a sudden it went bang across Adelaide and across Australia. And then other people in another country heard about it. So now we've got people in Africa, in South Africa, in Kenya, Nigeria, you name it, they're there. Ghana, right across Africa, and in Egypt and in Europe and in all across Southeast Asia. And then we've got a whole lot of people in South America. They hear the stories from our or the people that I talk to, and
Yeah.
then they send it on to other people. So I'm very, very grateful that people are passing on the information from Happy Business Radio. And as you said, we spoke earlier how there
Yeah.
was one particular guest I had that you want to get in touch with, and I'll send you that information.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
what I
that's
love about networking with business people. I mean, we might, as a business owner or a salon owner, and not all salon owners are great with business. They might be great with hair or beauty,
yeah,
but they don't always have a business acumen. So they might listen to other hairdressers or their husband or their girlfriend who has no idea as well. And I hear it all the time. Sheryl, there's no staff out there. People are lazy. They don't want to work anymore. And I think you can sit there and listen to all these stories from your girlfriend or whatever, and all this doom and gloom. Or, as I always say, walk into all of the salons in your neighborhood, go to
yeah,
the next neighborhood. Staff are working there. So, how come they're working there but they won't work for you?
yeah.
So,
Well, I always say headhunt.
you what? Well, that's
I
naughty.
always say, no, no,
Headhunt.
it's not. Headhunting is the number one most important thing. And the other thing is, I've got a couple of business people here now that I'm actually coaching. And this
Yeah.
guy's been in business for a long, long time, right? And his excuse is this: I'm surrounded by idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots. This is what he says. I said, no, no, no. I said, you are the idiot that employed them. I said,
Oh,
you're desperate for staff, or you're desperate for builders, or you're desperate for, plumbers or whatever. So you just employ the first guy that comes along.
yeah.
This guy, there's a guy there that can hold a paintbrush in one hand. Oh, that's it. He's a painter.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yeah. It's just, and
you're the idiot. You're the idiot that keeps employing these other people that you call idiot. Because I'm surrounded by idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots. You're the idiot. Look, interview people, ask them, look for what qualifications do they have? How long have they been doing it? And like you said, a lot of people have that personality, have the knowledge of how to make beautiful hair, cut and color and all this of it, but are no good in business. But
no,
they think they know how to run a business, and that's the hardest thing to do. But very, very easy if you get a coach or a mentor.
exactly.
Doctors are a really good example. I've got a couple of my clients who are doctors, and these guys are specialists, right? They're specialists in their field. But as far as business and accounting, they're
No
bloody
idea.
hopeless. They have no idea. And that's what this is all about, you see?
And that's why I bring people like you into the show, because I can't tell my salon owners that they're idiots because I'd be out of business. So
But
that's
I
why
can.
I bring people in like you that would go, you know what, you've really got to look at yourself, number one. Don't blame the economy. Don't blame your team members. Are you educating them? Are you doing the screening? Are you doing the reference checking? Are you inducting them? Are you educating them? Are you doing all your due diligence to
Yes.
make sure that you've got the right person? And you've got to step up and be the leader in the business as well. You can't expect just people to know what to do. as well.
Well,
And
it's funny you say that because there was a couple of years ago, I actually worked with a hairdressing salon. Um, yeah, and this lady that came from interstate and started her own salon here in Oysterville, and she went to work for somebody, and the lady that she went to work for said, "Oh no, I'm not going to teach anybody because if I teach them, then they'll leave."
I know
And I
what a fear
and I
mindset
said
that
to
is.
no, but I said to her, if you don't teach them, your business will fail.
Yeah.
If somebody's cutting somebody's hair and not doing it properly, you're not going to get a repeat business. I
Mm.
said, so if you don't teach them, you're going to fail. He said, oh, but if I teach them, they'll leave. I said, if you don't teach them, you're going to fail. So what are your choices?
What are your choices? Yeah,
Teach them,
people,
let them
yeah,
let them go, and then they say, I learned this from Salon X, or I learned this from Salon Y, and people say, oh wow, Salon X or Salon Y must be a good salon,
yeah.
and that's as simple as it is. And the most important thing that I find in any business is helping people rise, helping people get better and better and better. And in business, very few people are good at accounting.
No,
None of them that I've met know anything about the law. And the
no.
biggest problem I found in business, people sign a lease without understanding it.
That's
They've got a
yeah,
lease and they say, oh, yes, but the economy's bad. This is bad. That's bad. And I said, no, 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 no. Look at the shop next door. Look at the shop across the road. Look at the shop down the street. They've got the same government, the same state, the same weather, the same this, the same that. You are not doing it properly.
yeah.
In
And people don't want to
restaurants,
hear that, Peter. People
no, they
just go, no,
don't.
it's not me, it's somebody else.
Cheryl, I'm sorry, but I don't pull any punches anymore.
I
You
love
know,
it. That's why I got
I
you
don't pull
on.
punches. I just don't pull punches. See, the other thing is I've been working with some elite athletes, right? And, Olympics and Masters Games and a lot of, top sports people, male and female.
Mhm.
And I work with a lot of elite business people who want to go to the next level,
Yeah,
not just the
yeah.
next level, but the next level. You look around, years ago, there was a couple of salons here in Adelaide, for example, that had 5, 6, or 7 different areas that they
Locations.
had salons in.
Yeah,
Now, the only reason why that's changed because the person who was running that has passed away.
yeah,
But there's no reason why some salon owner couldn't have 2 or 3 salons. There's no reason at all, except they're thinking too small. You've
yeah,
got to start to think big. If you've got a coach or a mentor who can help you take it to the next level, then you've got something worthwhile. And people will headhunt your business. Your business, whatever business you're in, should be ready for sale right now. You should have all your tax up to date. You should have your books up to date, your legal papers up to date. And, I look at all those things. But let me tell you something. I know nothing about those things.
no,
The
me
reason why I
either.
know, no, I don't. But what I have people with me that know about all those things. So what I do, we have a company now that we've set up, which is called PR Growth Connections. The whole thing is about focused on your business, right? Backed by many. So what we do, we have you and I working together, but I have a team of people behind me that I can say, okay, Cheryl, let me talk to my accountant, or let me talk to this guy who's the accountant. Let me talk to the lawyer. Let me talk to the solicitor. Let me talk to this person who
Whoever.
really knows about the building, and he can fit out your shop or your business or whatever. You need transport? I've got a transport company. You need shipping some stuff? I know a shipping company. I've got other consultants who are much better than me, but I just lead them. I say, okay, here's there's there. It's like you running an agency to recruit people. I
Mhm.
run a business which helps people find the people they're looking for. And as
Bit
you
like a
quoted
broker.
before,
But you're a bit like
well,
a people
it's not
broker
like a broker.
business.
It's like a network. It's like a network, but it's a bit bigger or a bit better than any network, I feel, because it's a
Yeah.
connection. We're building connection with people. And if you ask me, look, I need this done, I say, look, I know somebody who can do that. And if I don't know somebody who can do that, I'll ask somebody until I find somebody. And like you said, my famous quote is, if I can't help you, I'll find somebody who can. And
So how good is
that
that?
has that's always been my motto.
I know.
Like if I can't help you, I will find somebody that can, because I'll ask my network, I'll ask my connections, and we'll come in together and go, bang, here it is for you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So if Peter, if someone, say one of our salon owners wanted to
Yeah,
grow their salon, do you go in and work with the salon owner and the team? How do you work?
it,
Say,
yes, yes.
okay,
Look, I've been working in Asia. I've been working in Asia for a long time, for the last 20 odd years, flying Yanks, real estate companies, a whole lot of things, and all across Adelaide and Australia, I've done the same thing. I either go in and say, let me talk to your staff, and I'll do what I call a business needs analysis. I mean, there's other names for them, but
yeah,
basically I go in and, I'll interview every member of the staff, or, if they've got 4 or 5 members, most of them don't have many more, but some of them that have 20, 30, 50 members, I'll interview 10 of them at random. And then I'll find out the same question I ask every one of them. And then I say, look, I don't say June said that and Julie said that and Mary said that. But what I say, look, I asked this question and this employee said this. This employee said that. This employee said that. And then I give them a profile or list of what the common answer was. And you know what?
what?
90% of the times, 90% of the time, the staff will tell the boss exactly what should be done, because they seem to know. The boss says, oh, I'm busy doing this and I'm busy doing that. But the staff know. They talk in the coffee shop. They talk in the back room. They talk while they're having coffee. They say, oh, my God, we should be doing this. We should be doing that. But the boss is too busy
To
to
listen.
hear it, or too busy to do that. And they've got other problems. So that fixes it up straight away. And I
Yeah,
can do that in person, or, like I said, over Zoom.
yeah, that's a great idea. And sometimes, as own business owners, we become a little bit arrogant as such and think that we know it all. And why should I listen to a mere team member? I'm the big boss. I know everything. And that's not very wise.
Yeah. But there are a lot of bosses that know that they don't know, but
That's
don't
good.
know where to get help,
Yeah.
right? Some people, the smart ones, know that they don't know, and then they don't know where to get help. So ask a person such as yourself. Say,
Yeah.
Cheryl, what should I do about this? What do you recommend?
Yeah.
And by asking you, you can say, look, I've got 5 consultants I can send to you, or
Yeah.
here's a consultant that will come. Here's a mentor that can come. Here's somebody, talk to somebody in a different business. The reason why I've been lucky enough to be very, very successful is because all the time, ever since I was very young, I was very dyslexic and I couldn't even speak English, right? Until I was 13 years of age,
Yeah.
you know. When people say to me, look, you're the least likely to succeed, now I almost take it as a compliment. I say,
Yeah.
great, that's why I'm going to succeed. It stirs me on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Which
like
is
somebody says,
great.
you can't do that. Look, let me show you.
Yeah. I'm going to show you. I'm determined.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm going to push that little bit harder.
yeah, and I think people become a little bit lackadaisical. And I find I've been doing this for 13 years and other businesses in the past. But one of the biggest problems I see is people listening to the wrong people.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a big problem too. See, this is another problem that I have with a lot of people who say, oh, I've got a coach. I've got a coach. How long has he been with? Oh, I've been with them for 10 years. Or,
Yeah.
yes, I've got a mentor. I talk to them regularly. But what do you talk about?
Mm,
And the other thing is, see, I'm such a good coach that I can take you from this level to this level. But then I hand you over to somebody else who's a
yes.
better coach in that area. And I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. Like, Leighton Hewitt is a South Australian world champion tennis player,
Hmm.
right? Now, that's just one example. When he was
Yeah.
a little boy, his father taught him how to hold a racket, told him how to hit a ball. And until he was about 12, his father was his coach. He became the
Mm,
junior champion, right? And he sacked his coach. And people said, "What? He's your dad. Why have you sacked him?" He said, "Because I want to go to to the senior level, and I want to be there. So between the ages of about 12 to 15, 16, whatever it was, he had a different coach.
Mm.
When he won the juniors championship, he said, right, that's it. I want a different coach. Then he went from there to 16 to 18, 20, what it was. He had a different coach. And when he got to the world champion, he became world champion, number one golf tennis player in the world. Immediately he announced the sacking of his coach. And people said, but he's your best friend. He said, yeah, he's been with you all this time. Yep. He said, well, why have you sacked him? And the reporter said, what's the rumors? What's happening? He said, no. He was the best coach to take me from there to number one. Now I need a coach who can keep me at number one. You
Definitely.
see? And that's different coaches, different mentality, different headset, take it to the next level. And then what happened was he got injured and stuff, and he dropped. He went back to his other coach. He went back to that coach he had to bring him back up again. You see? So that's what I say with a lot of businesses. They either don't have anybody, they have somebody for too long, the coach that they've got thinks that they're the best coach and won't change or won't advise them to change. I'll take you from one level to the next level and then hand you over to somebody else who's better than I am. Simple as that. And
I
if I
love that,
don't do
Peter.
that,
Yeah.
if I don't do that, that means I'm not doing the right thing by you.
Yeah, because we outgrow people, don't we? We outgrow our friends in life
Well,
when we
heavens, it's
move
like
on
being
to,
at school. You go to grade
yeah,
1, 2, 3, and 4, and at 5, 6, and 7, you have a different teacher. At high school, you have one at first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and then you go to uni and you have different professors or different teachers. You have to accept that the coach should change.
yeah. And if the coach, yeah, you need to change coaches sometimes for your own growth as well. So if
Yeah.
someone wants to get hold of you, Peter,
Mm-hmm.
how do they get hold of you? Do you want them to contact me? Do you want them to go to your website direct? Because I
The
can't
best
recommend
thing
you
to do,
enough.
yeah, the best thing to do is just contact you because they know you,
Okay.
right? Because I always let the people, come through the referrals that I get. Believe it or not, I don't have a website anymore. I'm on Facebook. No, it's a long story, and I can explain that to anybody that wants to know. I don't have a website because of the fact that I'm not working in Asia anymore. And it's a long story, but anyway,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
people
matter.
can contact me through my phone number,
Uh-huh.
which is Adelaide or South. If you're in Australia, it's 04088111567, or through my Facebook page, Happy Business Radio, which is my podcast, through PR Growth Connections, which is the business that we've started, so we can connect everybody together. And, definitely through you, Sheryl, because that's the best way. People hear it from you, let them come through you.
Yeah, I love it, Peter. Thank you so much for your time today. As I said, I can't recommend you enough. I love straight shooters. I'm a real straight shooter, and my dad taught me that. And you remind me
Yeah.
of my dad. Like, he just didn't have time to waste on just placating anyone. He just said what the truth was.
Well, like I said, when you work with athletes and when you work with elite business people or people who want to learn,
Mhm.
right? People who want to learn, because some people don't want to learn. There are people there
Right.
that you're flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
And I say, if you want to learn, I'll take you and I'll tell you who is the next best one for you.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If I can't help you, I'll find somebody who can. It's as simple as that. And I think a lot of people say, mine, and don't want to help,
No. No,
don't
there's a
want to let
big
go.
world. There's a big world. We all can
Yeah.
help each other at different levels of our growth as well. So thank you.
And the fact
I'm
is,
sorry.
sorry, Cheryl, the
That's
fact is, it doesn't matter what level you're at, right? Whatever level you're at, you can go up to the next level. Because if you're a millionaire, you can become a multi-millionaire. If you're a multi-millionaire, you can become a billionaire. If you're a billionaire, you become a multi-billionaire. So
fine.
there's always a step, a next step, next step, next step. Some people are happy at this level. That's great.
That's fine.
Some people are happy at the next level. And whatever level you're at, that's where we'll take you to. Simple as that.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time on the phone, on the Zoom today. And I know you've helped
A pleasure.
someone that's very dear to me as well with her growth. So I see her flying, and she's
Yeah.
72 or something now. And her,
Try 75.
oh, is she 75? I should know this.
Yep.
She's
Now, this
flying
is
now.
interesting. We won't mention any names, but
No,
um, no, I never mention names. Even when I'm talking to other clients, I
no,
never
nor do
mention
I.
names because
No.
sometimes they're in opposition to each other.
Hmm.
But this particular lady has just blossomed,
Mm.
at a senior age, has become a very powerful speaker. And the other day, I went and saw her at a presentation. I was very, very impressed.
Oh,
So it's
she's
been a pleasure
great.
working with her.
Yeah, she's well.
Yeah,
I'm
I help a
related
lot of
to her.
people. Yeah, we're not going to mention
No,
that.
oh, sorry. Sorry. Things just
That's all
come out
right.
my.
That's all right.
All
Yeah,
right.
no. What happens is I like to help people, and I like to help them help others. Because I
Mm.
think you've got to share it. And if
Oh,
you share your
definitely.
knowledge, if you share your knowledge like you have been, Cheryl, you help so many people. You don't realize how powerful you are because by helping one salon owner to rise, all their staff benefit. But more importantly, all their clients benefit because they get a better hairstyle, they get a more personal attention. So it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, you're right,
So
Peter.
thank you
And
so much.
I thank you. I love what I do. And, I'm a big softie. I'm a business person and I don't work for nothing. But people will ring me sometimes in tears
Yeah,
and my goal is just to help them and help their business and get their mindset right and find the right team for them so they can grow their business. And so, yeah, I love helping people. It's my absolute passion.
it
So,
shows. It shows.
oh,
It
thank
shows.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, it shows. I mean, I can tell by just the way you're talking and
Yeah.
the caring comes across.
Thank you,
So
Peter.
thank you,
Yeah.
Cheryl. It's been a pleasure talking to you this morning or today.
It's been lovely
So
talking to you. And thank you so much for taking time out of your valuable day. So I really,
it's
really
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
So if anybody needs help, just let me know or
He's
let
your
you know.
man. Peter's your
Uh,
man.
Sorry,
I said, you're their man.
I'm their man.
You're
I'm
their
here to
man.
help. I'm here to help. So if I can't help you, I will find somebody who can. And like I have lawyers, they're friends of mine in different states, so they don't have to be here in Adelaide. They can be anywhere across Australia where I have connections with other people. And that's the beauty of having connections. It's just not a network, it's a whole lot of different connections. So the connections aren't just in Adelaide or Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane, they're right across Australia. And I'm lucky enough now to have a lot of connections in other parts of the world.
Which is
There's
so
a
handy.
company there was a company in America a few years ago that this young lad started, and he did hair extensions, right? And he just sold hair extensions. He asked me for some advice when he was about 18, 20 years old, right? And I gave him some business tips and some business advice. He went to America and started this business over there, which was hair extensions. And all of a sudden, it became number one, like right across America. And he sold this business for a pretty packet. And he's back in Adelaide now, living on the Gold Coast.
I love
So
those stories.
anybody can do it.
Anyone
Anybody
can
can do
do
it,
it.
honestly.
I think it's the belief. A lot of people don't believe in themselves that they can actually do it. That's half the
Well,
problem.
not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody wants to do that. I
No.
just help people be the best you want to be. That's it. Simple as that.
All right.
Thank you very
Beautiful.
much.
Thank you. And I'll talk to you very soon.
Love to. You're wonderful to talk to. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you,
Bye-bye.
Peter. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.